everybody. Welcome again back to the Darkest Fears podcast. And today we are going to be doing Xtro. Wonderful science fiction horror film that was filmed back in 1982. And I really enjoyed this one. The effects are bar none so great. I love the effects in this movie. You know, it's got the gore. It's got a really decent story to it too. It's just all around real good to me.
Yeah, I like that it's just like a hidden gem that not a lot of people know about. I remember watching 1, 2, and 3 relatively back to back. I was pretty bummed that they're not linked really at all. He's like, I just want to tell 3 different alien stories. Mm-hmm. I don't remember a lot of the second one. I do remember the effects being cool. I remember one of them having like a Stargate angle, like a reverse Stargate, like an alien comes through the Stargate and just fucking wrecks everybody. I think that's 3. But it was bad. I mean, like fucking like green screen, like very obvious green screen acting with like not even like proportionate shots, like a big like spaceship hallway behind a guy, but like he looks like he's fucking 12 feet tall. I mean, the aliens were always cool, but this one's definitely the only one to really see, honestly. If you're really interested, watch 2, but apparently he's making 4. So
really,
yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go.
I hope it doesn't suck on that one. I haven't even heard of a 4 coming.
I haven't heard anything either. Just that it's coming. Was like he like made like a Twitter post or something, and he was just like, Xtro 4 is coming.
Yeah, I haven't seen the other 2. Yeah, quite frankly, I've only seen this one. I remember I saw this one years and years ago when, another one that you just pick up at the movie store right out of the dollar wall. Yeah, I've been in love with it since. It has so many good things that you really can enjoy about a horror film in this one. Yeah, the infamous birthing scene is it always puts like a wild smile on my face every time I watch it because it's so absurd.
I mean, there's such a wild amount of pregnancy and birthings and
the pregnancy scene though, like her stomach just gets abnormally huge.
In one cut it goes from like
this
it's
is
flat.
Just a mild pregnancy, then it's just like, oh my
9
God.
months.
Like, holy shit, I just gained like 450 pounds in 1 second.
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't remember who turned me on to it, but I do remember like Dan being in the room and just being like, fuck yeah. And I was just like, oh God, not this. And then like just came like whoever was talking about it, I was way too drunk to remember, but they just randomly described like weird child pregnancy stuff and like alien abductions, and I was like, I have to find this movie. And it's very similar to Fire in the Sky, only like Fire in the Sky was like, we want to tell a serious true story. And then Xtro was like, just do whatever you want. I don't even care. Like, I was reading about the production, and the guy like met with, I think, like a cinematographer or something on a previous work, and they talked about it once they actually like re-met at a party or something. And he was like, oh man, that sounds awesome, we should get together and do that. And then I guess Harry Davenport like hired 2 writers, and he said they went to town, and he like just didn't restrict them. That's why we have the fucking weird ass movie we have. Like,
I mean,
and
kudos
I remember
for
watching,
kudos
yeah,
for
for letting them
creativity,
rock.
you know?
Yeah. I think like being your first film too, and you're trying to do something as niche as sci-fi horror, like it's either going to be insanely boring or you're actually going to bring it. This definitely isn't boring by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
It
not
might
at
not
all.
make much fucking sense, but it's like, for every scene that doesn't make sense, there's a couple scenes of just like, holy shit, this is happening now? Why?
Yeah, I mean, even for like being a British movie, sometimes British movies can like drag a little bit. But man, this is just packed full of crazy shit that just happens throughout this movie.
I've seen them like use that inverted humanoid in so many like YouTube videos of like, are skinwalkers real? Are cryptids real? And it's like, that's from a fucking horror movie, you idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Now that you mention it,
like I saw it today on that channel that we just subbed to, because I was looking for content on there, but I was like, I've seen that so many times in so many like conspiracy websites and books, and it's just funny. Like,
yeah.
it's one thing to like do something like that, do some special effects, and then like send it to the news station and be like, we saw Bigfoot. But to like rip a screenshot from a movie, or go to Google and type in aliens in real life, and then just like pull a picture and be like, this really happened. But yeah, one thing that makes me laugh about the movie is the initial father abduction scene, because the fucking, however, even though it's not shown however strong or wild this UFO is, it basically turns day into night.
Right.
With
yeah,
no
like
explanation
instantly.
at all. We're playing Frisbee, and there's no like slow overcast. There's no Independence Day shot of like,
Just rewatching it and just like seeing that just happen. It's almost like it felt like I blinked and it was like, oh, it's night? Like what? But yeah, that is a crazy thing that happens in the beginning of the movie when they're out on the farm and they're, he's playing with his kid and everything. And then just everything just goes black, and
right.
then he gets abducted, and it's crazy.
Yep. Went out for a pack of smokes.
Didn't come back.
Didn't come back. And props to the guy's mullet during the roadside moment. Very nice mullet. Not one of the best, but for that time period, he definitely had it in check.
I think one of the most annoying characters in this movie, though, is the boyfriend.
Oh, by far.
That dude is so annoying.
By far. His fucking hoop earring is so stupid. That's a standard ass earring, and you made that look just dumb as hell. The whole forest scene just reminds me of the part from Slither where they first find the fucking alien out in the woods. I mean, obviously, Slither tops it. Very reminiscent of just the random couple frolicking through the woods. Only this is much more of a horror, what the fuck type thing.
And like one thing to also point out is some of the camera work in this movie is really cool too, and it's not something that you see normally in movies. Like I'm just kind of like rewatching it a little bit as we're going, and you see after the abduction scene in the beginning, the kid wakes up in his bedroom and you just see the camera just like do this huge pan shot, like just like a panoramic shot, and just like zooms right into the kid on the bed. And it's like, you don't see that very often in movies. With this being an older one, it's definitely unique.
Yeah, the main birthing scene has that weird camera angle for like a couple of minutes where it's like the top corner of the kitchen ceiling. Really weird to tell like what frame they're in for a second. And then it just switches to a normal scene. But like when she first, before she's like 9 months, when she's 1 month pregnant, before they jump to the 9-month pregnancy, it's just like that weird like back corner. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the scene that got them the video nasty. And I know video nasties are pretty tame to us and especially to today's standards, there's really only like 3 frames I could think where like you would actually be appalled.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just the whole situation of this woman giving birth to a full-grown man. I don't know. It's funny to me. There's really only like one shot where you're just like, ooh.
Like when he's biting on the umbilical cord.
Right. But like when he first starts to breach, you're just like, holy shit. And that made me wonder, like, is there an extended cut of her? Like, because this is the fastest birth in history, especially for a full grown man. Like, what was labor? 20 seconds?
For real.
Like, I was in labor with my kid for 12 hours. Yeah, well, I had my human man in 20 minutes.
And not even like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He just kind of came out.
There's also just the creepy moment of like him walking in on his parents fucking.
Oh yeah,
that could be a whole horror movie in itself.
Yeah, I mean everybody knows it. Like when you're younger and you walk into a situation like that, that's definitely gonna like what the fuck.
Yeah, when you're that fucking young and she's like, "Oh, you just had a nightmare. Go back to bed." And you're just like, "Am I still having a fucking nightmare? What the Props for Rimshot from Ernest being in the movie as the dog.
Is that the actual dog?
No, but it's the same breed.
Same breed, yeah. I kind of
as soon as I saw him, I was like, "It's fucking Rimshot." I mean, like they even take the whole alien face sucker thing and make that like somehow even more in your face and brash. And like face suckers are legendary, but like this is like the alien using its little mouth to fucking impregnate you rather than like a whole nother fucking system. It's just very out of the blue. Like when he fucking stabs the dude in the eyes, like it's just so out of the blue and so quick. And it's very cool that like he retains the memories. Like when he is birthed, he fucking goes back and is like, "Oh yeah, there's those clothes on that body I killed. Oh, there's that car with that bitch in it. I totally disemboweled her. The car's still there. I know exactly where it is. Now I have a car and clothes to get home."
And it's such a crazy movie because like there's just random shit that happens throughout. Like the kid waking up in the bed, and the kid in the bed like covered in blood, and it's like,
yeah,
this is normal.
Yeah,
and the parents aren't like the mother is obviously distraught, but it's like this is just happening. Like,
yeah, he has his like boy period, and like they're just like, "Oh, it's whatever, love. Go back to bed."
Yeah, for real. Like it's just like a nonchalant kind of thing. Like, no, your child is covered in blood. You might want to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, elaborate on that just a hair for me, please. But I mean, almost nothing gets elaborated on in this movie, and I think that's fine. And it's also not like crazy fucking gratuitous either. Like, yes, there's a lot of birthing and impregnation scenes. None of them are like, "Oh, that's fucking crazy disgusting." Even the violence when the midget clown, which we'll get to, smacks the babysitter in the head with his rubber hammer, she doesn't even bleed.
Yeah,
at all. And I figured like that's definitely where there should be blood, if anywhere. And then I was thinking about the movie. I was like, there's not a lot of like gore in that movie at all. It's more like weird alien fibers and shit like that.
Yeah, it's more like kind of body horror kind of stuff. That kind of happens.
Like mullet dude's girlfriend gets her gut slashed, but you don't really see it until the guy finds her body, and it literally looks like they just like threw like a hamburger in her fucking lap. Like looks pretty bad. You can tell they spent all the money on the sweet sci-fi effects, which is great. I was very glad when the weird ass old lady neighbor died. I did not like her at all. She creeped me out probably more than any alien in that movie. Just like, I'm a brown noser that's gonna fucking polish my door all day so I can hear all the gossip. Like, go away. Yeah, you got me thinking about my neighbors because I had to watch it so loud because the rip I had was like, the voices were like this. But then the fucking explosions were just like, poof. So I literally had my TV on 75, and I was like, I wonder what my neighbors are thinking after I saw that scene.
I was watching, and I don't know why, I was watching Insidious the other day, and the same shit. Yeah. It's like you're at a quiet part, and it's like very quiet, and you can't hear anything, and then all of a sudden you get one of those jump scares, and it's just like, and my wife's like, turn that shit down.
Yeah, and it doesn't translate well at home. Like, it's great for theaters.
Right,
when you
because,
got
like, in
fucking
theaters, you're, like,
surround
immersed
sound.
in the sound. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't look away from the screen. You know, that's why I sort of feel for my mom and hated living with my mom. Like, after I just, like, was able to get out on my own, I did as soon as I could, because she would take the loudest sound, and if she could hear that, my TV was too loud, but like didn't comprehend that like people don't talk in the volume of gunshots. Nobody equalizes a movie. So
Right.
it's like, oh no, shit, a gunfight's breaking out. I got to turn it down real quick. Okay, now they're talking. I got to turn it up. And then it was just like, I'm just going to watch a movie with subtitles on. And they've joked around like, you know, if things ever get tough, you can always come back home. And I'm like, no, I'll be homeless. I'll be homeless rather than just watch a movie with subtitles again. That's just fucking terrible. It's so funny because nothing is really amiss in the movie for a while after the dad comes back, except for the fact, you know, that he killed whatever. Like you know something's going on. The phone melting kind of got me, but you don't know how British telephones are. They could just be bad and overheat. But then to like just walk in on your dad eating your fucking snake's eggs. Bro, what are you doing right now? Like, he saved one though. He did not eat them all.
Yeah. No, like the funniest interactions I think in this movie are between the dad and the boyfriend, because like the boyfriend is such a chomo and he's so jealous of this dude.
Yeah, and he's got like 20 questions lined up when he walks in the door. Where are you staying? How long are you staying? How long have you been back? Where have you been? Like, dude, just knock him the fuck out and just squirt alien stuff into him like you do. I don't know. Like, you can melt things with your hands.
Like at least just melt grab that his earring. Fucking hairdo off, you know?
Exactly. He could have like Michael Jacksoned him, or just like grabbed the earring and heated it up till his ear melted. Yeah, that dude, I was like just dying to get his, because he already has the worst job in the world, the most alarming job in the world. I photograph women. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude. Get an actual job.
Because you're such a step up, you know?
And not only that, I photograph their feet in nice shoes. So I'm not like, you know, an animal. Like, whatever, dude. You're a fucking full-blown weirdo. Yeah, that guy is just too much. But once he bites Danny's neck and does whatever he does, I don't know even. I'm going to consider that more impregnation, but it's definitely a transference of magical powers, and
that's the only way to really explain it.
That's the only way they explain it. Like, he's like, Danny, calm down. It's totally cool. I gave you a hickey, but now because I gave you a hickey, you can bring your toys to life, dude. And he's like, really? Great.
Dude, yeah, like
that's all clown, you had to tell me, Dad.
Yeah, the clown scene is just absolutely insane and bonkers.
Right, and I don't know if I saw the clown little person before. Like, I don't know if I watched a trailer before I saw this or what, but like, I completely forgot that it's not until like the last half of the movie that thing is even in it. It's the last 45 minutes where you're just like what the fuck? The movie. It knows how to prepare an alien cocoon, how to incubate the eggs. Like, it just takes control of either Danny is controlling the midget, or like the midget is just like, no, I'm serving our alien overlord. I'm preparing the alien race. Give me your fridge. Let me knock that shit over. We're going to start cooling down these eggs. Like, it's so fucking wild.
It's so wild, dude. There definitely had to have been some drugs that were consumed making this movie.
Right. Like I said, it's fire in the sky, but wild. The adventures of the snake, as short-lived as they are great. I just really loved seeing the snake fuck with the neighbor.
Giant toy G.I. Joe that shoots at the old lady. Like,
the tank had me cracking up, and I really tried not to, but it's like, that's a pretty big fucking tank. Like, what kind of round would it actually be firing? Obviously, you know, the guy's a foot fetish photographer, so he's scared of everything. But like, what are you running from it for? And then finally he's like, I gotta get out of here. Or no, it was actually the babysitter's boyfriend, but he was like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go past the tank again. What am I gonna do? And he grabs the bathroom towel and like throws it on top of the tank like it's gonna blind it. What? How is that supposed to fucking work? Like, it just fucking cracked me up. And then there's the whole babysitter enigma. Like, I don't know if this is like the hip European thing to do, to just like hire a French 19-year-old to live in your fucking house and watch your
Right.
kid while you're like, woo, I do whatever I want all day. Like, she takes care of the kids. We're home. We're just drinking and partying and taking pictures of feet. Like, that was such a weird thing for me to wrap my head around. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
when they go
didn't
to
really
work,
understand that either.
when they go to work, like, my boyfriend and I have a bunch of sex while Danny's home, but when they're home, I'm home too, and I also take care of Danny. It was just so fucking odd. Like, and why did she have to be French? Did you like import her? There was no one in London. Her cocoon scene is awesome, which I guess in the Blu-ray there's like an extended scene of that, or like a making of like how they did that scene. The director was talking about on the new like 4K Blu-ray release that like they go a lot more in depth into how that scene was done, which is cool. But I also think it's really cool that like you just stumble in the bathroom and she's like in a cocoon with a fucking spout coming out of her that births eggs. And it's just like, there it is.
This movie, it just gets so wild, and some of the scenes are kind of like gross. And like you're talking about with the the cocoon scenes and everything. It's just so it's unique. It's a unique movie.
I would say like one of the most disturbing scenes for me, if not the, is when they fucking knock the babysitter out and he just like bites her stomach and doesn't give her magic toy powers, but instead impregnates her with the aliens. And like you see all the veins billowing out of the bite. And I'm thinking like, how does this work? Because he could have used the belly button route, but he's like more like on her hip, nowhere near a womb or a uterus.
Yeah, it's so odd.
There's so many veins coming out. It's like, is he just like sucking her blood or what? But it's the same thing his dad did, but only she doesn't get toy controlling powers. Maybe only the males do.
Yeah, and like the veins are like popping out of the belly, and it looks like that they're filled with weird shit, and they almost look like odd blisters, like kind of just popping up off of the stomach. It's so fucking weird.
It reminded me of like Black Plague pustules.
Yeah,
it was really fucking cool looking, but disturbing because it's literally just like the darkest room. And you just see Danny's eyes like sucking on her like side.
It's a really cool shot though, because like,
it's like
eyes,
the most fucked up thing he does.
Yeah, because like his eyes, there's barely any light on the eyes, so it just looks like total darkness when he's like sucking on the belly.
You know, this is all happening while the mother and original OG husband decide to go back to the cottage, which I guess they tried to like dig a little deeper into it and make it padded out just a bit more, but it was just silly. Oh no, someone's been here. And she like looks around and he cuts like right into the backyard and he's like, I want to show you some awesome shit before it gets dark. And she's like, oh, okay. And leaves the cottage doors open. You didn't even check for like burglars or like squatters really. And then you just left the doors open anyway. And then they go for a walk and just find a bunch of mutilated animals. And he's like, isn't this tight? Pretty much. And then they go back to the cottage and just start to drink wine. And he's like, this place used to be pretty cool, huh? She's so fucking lost and just like not even really a character, honestly.
The mother is like she almost seems like completely oblivious to all this absurd shit that's going on around her and her son.
Yeah, and then you know the most crazy shit she's not there for, like Hallway Panther. When, where, why, how? Like they literally just cut like I'm gonna walk down the hallway and there's a fucking panther in the hallway that lunges at them.
It's absurd, dude. Like I would have wanted to be a fly on the wall in the writing process of this movie.
I don't think he edited anything. I don't think there was probably anything he crossed out, erased, was like, we're not shooting that. Like I don't really think there was.
Yeah, I mean, like, what ideas did they throw out that didn't make the cut? Like, you know, because this just seems like they just like had like a storyboard on the wall and they just threw darts at it and like, hey, whatever
Yeah,
landed,
yeah.
this is what we're gonna film.
I want to say that, but I don't know. I mean, it's other times it's like the backbone was definitely there, and it's really tight. Like it's definitely got like some weird like child abuse, pedophile vibes. It's definitely got some like, the obvious alien abduction thing going on, and it's weird how they try to mix those up because like the whole alien probe conspiracy, abduction conspiracy, like a lot of those stories, if you get really deep into them, like it's just usually people like with long gaps of missing time that they can't account for. They make up this shit in their head, or they really think it happened, or who knows, maybe it did happen. I like how it just takes that really on the nose and is like, yep, this is it. Xtro 2 could have easily been about him taking Danny to the mothership and them just molesting and ruining Danny to pieces and then just dumping him back on Earth when they were done. Could have easily been something like that. Instead, he was just like, no, I want my son back. And then they leave the mom and they're like, deuces. There is an alternate ending that I don't think is better than the original ending, but it is different. You may want to check that out. It's like 2 minutes long. It's the very ending scene when she goes back home, but it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing to say about this movie. It has that like kind of childlike feel.
Plus, it's one of those movies that if I found when I was 8 years old, it would have fucked me up.
Right.
Like, royally. Like, X-Files fucked me up for a while. Fire in the Sky truly fucked me up when I found it. Because I found Fire in the Sky. I'll make this quick instead of too much detail. I stayed the night at my friend Sean and Brandon's house, and not Sean Gross, but another Sean. And their bedroom was always upstairs. I would always pass out downstairs, where all their video games, drums, weight benches, and stuff were. And like, because that's where we always hung out all day. So eventually they would peel off one by one and be like, I'm tired, and go upstairs on the second floor. And I was always in the basement. And then occasionally when I couldn't sleep, I could go into the computer room in their kitchen, and his brother would be up just like listening to music on AIM. And I would just bullshit with his brother till I got tired again and pass out. One night I was like, oh man, maybe Brandon's up. And I went back into that computer room, which is extremely small. It's like a closet with 2 computers in it, one for each of them, and like a bunch of CDs and a big ass stereo. One tiny TV, and like I go in there and Brandon's not in there. And I'm like, well, fuck. I'm wide awake. I can't sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I literally just like turned on the TV, and it was on sci-fi at like 3 a.m. And I guess Sean heard it because he came downstairs and was like, what's up? And like, we were literally like watching the end of Fire in the Sky. And I was maybe like 12 to 14. And like,
yeah.
The coolest part was just like seeing him leave his cell floating around. And I was like, oh, cool. It's probably going to be a really bad, shitty sci-fi movie. And then the rest was like him being grabbed, covered in latex, and tortured. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to try to sleep now. Like, easily one of the most scariest experiences of my life was like seeing that. Yeah, dude. That's all I knew about that movie for years until I like got the internet and could like look it up and realize like, oh, now I can watch the full movie. And the full movie is nothing like that until the very end.
Yeah,
but this is another movie like, if I saw this right off the rip when I was like 8 to 12, it would have fucked me up.
Yeah, I actually sampled that scene for the Venomous Echoes album, for a track that I did on there, because the album is about being taken apart and reassembled, and and that scene just kind of just fits the concept of what I was going for for that record. And I just layered it with noise, and I layered it with odd screeching sounds, and it's one of my favorite scenes in a movie because it's so fucked up.
Yeah, that one is truly fucked. I still have my sample CD somewhere. I gotta find it and rip it and send it to you. And the improv that Sean and I did of like 40 minutes of us just dicking around, but I layered like a bunch of like comedy samples over it instead of like horror movie samples. But for my Stowaway set, I had a sample CD that did Take Shelter, Imprint, Twin Peaks, 10 minutes of just fucking samples nonstop that I was meant to use in my first set, but didn't. The only other really, truly fucking two terrifying moments I ever had was once when me and Amanda were taking the back roads to get some 40s. Already quite inebriated. I guess there was a bar like back there on one of those back roads in Moraine, and I literally I stopped at a stoplight. It was like midnight, dude. I look to my left, I don't see anybody. I look to my right, I don't see anybody. I look to my left, I don't see anybody. I look to my right, and a woman like rises up out of a ditch. And the only reason I knew it was a woman because she had a purse around her arm, but I think she just fell down there drunk walking home. And this is like farmland, like area, Moraine. Like, so I don't expect to see anything. And I just see a woman rise up out of a ditch. And I thought it was fucking Swamp Thing. And I audibly screamed and just floored it, dude. That scared the fuck out of me. And then one time, probably the third to fifth time I stayed the night at Sean Gross's house, his basement like power could all be controlled by the light switch at the top of the stairs. So like if we passed out with everything on, his dad or mom would just like flip that and be like whatever. So I think like his dad got confused or mom got confused and thought it was off, but it was on or something like that. Whatever happened, like his stereo kicked on in the middle of the night, extremely loud volume, playing Iron Man, which I had never heard at that time. And it was just the intro. And then the stereo turned off. And I was like woken up by that. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was like 12 years old, 13. I was like, and I look at Sean and he's just like fucking snoring his head off. I'm like, okay. And then his TV randomly turns on and it's got the movie Crossroads, not with Britney Spears, but with the kid from Karate Kid, the Crossroads movie where they battle guitars, where him and Steve Vai guitar battle. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guitar battle, the ending guitar battle is playing. So the stereo turns off. It's quiet for like a minute. And I'm like, what the fuck? The TV turns on and it's just the Karate Kid battling Steve Vai in Crossroads. And then the TV turns off and I'm supposed to go back to sleep. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Which is another movie that I eventually looked up and watched all of and was like, okay, only the end of that movie is sweet.
Yeah.
We were just talking about kind of the absurdity of this movie and the weird tangents that they took throughout. And you know, as I'm sitting here just kind of watching it again, you know, I'm watching the midget clown guy filling the refrigerator with the weird shit.
Yeah,
it's just so odd and so weird.
Or as I have it referenced as the egg pudding.
Yeah, the egg pudding.
I never realized like the janitor that checks on them had a big ass picture of Stalin behind him. And then we get cocooned, which I think is a fucking awesome special effect. It looks really fucking good.
It really does. And that's like I said earlier, and the other part of this video is the effects are bar none so cool in this movie.
Yeah, I'd like to check YouTube after this and see if there's like if that extended version or them talking about making that scene is on there. Because I swear I read like an interview or something somewhere where he said it was much more massive and elaborate.
No, I was just kind of reading up on the production of the movie, and you know, we had kind of mentioned, I had mentioned anyway. I just wondered what it was like in the storyboard building for this movie. You know, if they just had like a whiteboard and just a bunch of shit like just written on it and just some darts and they just threw it at it. And it's just kind of reading up on it. That may have been kind of like what they were going for.
Yeah, I felt like he just let the writers do whatever they wanted pretty much.
Yeah, so that the plot was kept intact, but new writers went off into weird and wonderful tangents and just came up with off the wall shit.
I love the janitor because he gets in the elevator and he just fucking complains that nothing works right in London. And it's like, you're a fucking communist, dude. Shut up. You wouldn't even have an elevator right now. You'd be going up some fucking stairs.
Right.
And then I think he gets let off easy. I don't even think you see his on-screen death. I can't remember. I know they do like the weird toy thing, and then you just like hear a thud pretty much. I think he knew like the birthing and the impregnations were gonna like get him in trouble. So let's not be too graphic on the actual violence. I think that last 10 minutes just comes together real fucking nicely.
It does, like from him getting into the elevator and just like the culmination of the big ending. It's just so cool.
Pretty much just them shitty boyfriend going from, oh no, why is Danny suddenly fucking on my car, to like, let's go look at your mom in the cottage. What's your mom doing in the cottage? Like, from that moment on is just fucking wild. I mean, absolutely wild. The hoopering boyfriend finally gets his. You get to see zombie dad in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the small part where he like picks out a chunk of his own scalp looks really good. Like, it doesn't look like a busted ass effect at all. There's the mother just like wandering blissfully through the forest as like her husband turns into a full-on alien zombie hybrid thing, and her son is starting to as well. And then she's just like staring at it all as it happens, like just so oblivious to everything. But yeah, that whole scene is fucking great. From the second the boyfriend gets there till it ends is just fucking so amped up and awesome.
Right, and how speaking of the janitor, and what a random way to die, because he has like that weird like spinning thing, like with all the colors on it, just kind of just like moving around in the room, and then it just slices his throat.
Yeah.
It's like what a weird and creative way to make somebody die in a movie.
Yeah, that's almost like slasher-esque. Wouldn't they like, we're on like the 8th Friday the 13th, and they're just like, how we've already done that. How are we gonna make this? Like, they could have made it so simple for Xtro, but they were like, no, just do what you want.
Yeah, just make it as crazy as possible.
Yeah. And then, like, the whole time this is happening, they end up having sex, so she probably gets impregnated with something fucking wild. Or who knows, maybe it was normal sperm. Who knows? I don't know. I don't want to judge. Again, UFOs are way too expensive to even put in post. Like, too fucking expensive. I was like, do you see a mothership at the end? And I was like, wait, no, you don't. And then I was watching it, I was like, yeah, there's definitely no UFO here.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really weird, like, triangular beam. It's not even, like, the typical, like, straight X-Files beam. Yeah, and the whole time, the mom doesn't know that the babysitter is just an alien birthing machine. Like, no fucking idea at all.
Right, it's just like I said, she's just like so oblivious to everything that's going on.
I think it's just rushed, honestly. I think when they cut it, they didn't realize they were probably cutting scenes of her reacting or something like that.
Yeah.
They're probably just like, okay, this bitch cries for a little bit. Let's just cut that part out. Get it moving. But it just kills me because, like, she goes home and the first thing you see is Hallway Panther.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, I'm just walking through my house, and it's basically a tunnel of light now, and there's a hallway panther. Doesn't see the babysitter, but sees the eggs in the fridge.
Right. And the sex scene though is so fucking weird because like he's got that weird shit on his side, and then his face starts to like kind of melt off.
We all have back knee, Ben. It's okay.
No, but like his face is also like melting off, and it's just like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, and at that point, like, I figured he would have tried to been like, come with me too. But this is just father and son bonding time. No girls allowed, I guess.
Yeah.
He's probably like, I'm gonna hit it one last time, and then me and my son are gonna go on a sick ass adventure as alien zombies. After that, she's kind of scared and trying to leave. She doesn't initially try to leave, and then like when he gets off her, he's not like, I can explain, or like, It's okay. Let me tell you what's going on. It's just like, I just had sex with an alien zombie thing. Let's get the fuck out of here, because Hoopering shows up, right at the perfect time to save her.
Hoopering.
And his death is great, honestly.
Yeah.
I loved his death. Because so
'Cause
many
it's just
brutal
so well
things.
deserved. Yeah.
Yeah, so many brutal things could have happened. But the most important thing that needed to happen is somebody needed to yell at that man. And it took an alien zombie to do it. And he yelled at him until he fucking melted. So.
Yeah. Like, so deserved. Especially that dumbass
And he
fucking
melts something
hairdo.
else, too, at some point. He melts the phone, the boyfriend, and he melts something else. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Oh, it was the doorknob.
It's such a fucking weird movie. But, it's just kudos for all the creativity that they put into this.
Did you check out the alternate ending?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and I feel like that mouth suck at the end was very, very good. I mean, most mouth sucks are good, but some can be bad. But that one was really awesome, just because I totally did not expect it, honestly, because it was the second time I had seen the movie. But like, once it actually fucking happened, I was like, oh shit, really? Like, I thought it was literally going to cut out of her just like holding out the egg. But it was nice to see it pop.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like some of the effects kind of like give you that like kind of Cronenberg kind of feel. So focused on some of the scenes, anyways, are so focused on like body horror and just weird shit.
I called out that guy for using the Xtro thumbnail in his fucking movie, and he was like, "Not sure what you mean." Yeah, because you didn't do any fucking research, you loser.
But everybody used it. Like, everybody has used it. Like, even like the TV shows, like when they're talking about like the cryptid, the rake, or something like that, they
It's
always
the
use the
chupacabra.
same kind of creature.
Oh wait, there is a UFO when it crashes.
And if anybody's been watching the last 2 episodes, we've been having issues with scenes getting blocked. So
Yeah, so I'm thinking stills probably won't be as bad.
we're probably just
Plus-
gonna have to change up some things.
Yeah, I'm not too hateful on stills anyway, because it gives you good looks at special effects and shit like that.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
I don't really have much more to say about Xtro. I would say the cover for 2 is enticing, I will say. It looks like they kind of took the alien from Fire in the Sky, slapped him on the cover, and was like, Xtro 2, watch the skies. And it's like, oh shit, that's probably a banger. And I don't remember it being awful, but I certainly remember 3 being awful. So if you're going to mess with any of them besides 1, give 2 a shot. The plot line I read for 4, it's called Xtro the Big One. And it says LA tries to recover from a massive earthquake when aliens invade. So he could be going just full on action ridiculousness, which he does not have the budget for. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
So it might be the end of Xtro as we know it, but I will say none of them are as horror based as this. I don't even think 2 is, honestly.
Yeah, this one is definitely more. I haven't seen the second one or the third one, so I can't really say and speak on them. But this one is probably one of the most creative horror movies I've seen in a while. And
Yeah.
I just really enjoyed it. If anybody hasn't seen it, definitely I do recommend to check it out because it is just wonderful, and you don't get disappointed throughout this movie whatsoever. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it might not be a favorite, but you're gonna remember it, and you're definitely gonna like. It's certainly worth a watch. None of it's bad at all. Um,
no, no, I mean,
even if not all of it is amazing, none of it is bad. But you're definitely gonna remember it. Even if you forget the title, you're gonna like remember it and try to explain it to somebody and sound like a fucking lunatic.
yeah, I definitely agree. Well, and I think this will kind of wrap up the extra video. I think what we may have next is either we're going to do the comic interview with Carissa Grant, or we're going to do Grave Robbers with our buddy Jimmy. Um, uh, so if anybody was looking forward to that, definitely check that one out. We are going to be doing that soon. Again, if you like our videos or if you like the Darker Spheres podcast or anything that we have done so far, definitely like and subscribe. Hit the
Comment,
bell.
talk,
Yeah, or send any
and
comments whatsoever in the comment section. Give us recommendations. Give us anything that you
no
think that
promise on
we.
on doing the recommendations or when we will though, because sometimes I want to get something else out of the way first. But we
Yeah,
do appreciate recommendations for sure.
for sure. Yeah, if anybody has any movie that they want us to check out, mention it. Let us know, and we'll we'll do what we can.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
as long as it's not Jordan Peele or the new Scream, I think we're good.
yeah,
I
definitely,
say that.
definitely not
I
Jordan
say
Peele
that, and
because.
I say that, and somebody's gonna find something just fucking terrible to waste our time with.
But anyway, I do thank you so much, guys, for watching the Darkest Fears podcast, and thanks again, Mike, for joining me.
Of
And
course.
everybody, hit that bell for the notifications so you don't miss any more videos. And we'll talk to you soon.